Welcome back to the Big Money Podcast. I'm your host, Jeanine Hurte, and as you can see if you follow me on YouTube, I am still in Georgia. Couldn't be more pumped. We are going this week into the miracles that happen when you go through massive resistance. And this is such a turning point. And this is not about like the money I've created from my Israel journey. Let's like really decode this energetically, what has happened to me and why this big wave of financial success afterwards had to be the only possible outcome. Because I feel if we understand how energetics are working, it's maybe easier, could be easier for you to navigate, actually go through the resistance and receive wild outcomes. So first of all, if massive resistance is hitting you, that's always a sign that massive miracles are on the other side. By now, I've been through a lot of resistance in my life, and it's almost at a point that I am celebrating if this is happening. Like I shared with you in last week's episode, the resistance was just getting stronger by the day, and I'm like, there's a miracle for me. I don't know what it is, but I know I gotta go no matter what. And that's what I've done in my life over and over and over and over again. Those moves that don't make sense, those moves when my family, my husbands are saying like, are you insane? No, I think it's not a good thing. But if I have a call, I have an impulse, I go no matter what. And afterwards, everybody's like, ooh, that's genius. I see how this worked out for you. I'm like, sure. But people don't understand like why I'm receiving all those wild miracles, not just only financially, in all areas of life, is because I'm constantly putting myself into the areas most people wouldn't go. So many people always ask me like, why is it possible? Like, why you make so much money with such a small audience? I'm like, because exactly what I've shared with you. And then I see over and over how other people are behaving. It's like fear, it's like money, it's like If every time resistance hit you and you don't navigate through it, but you run away from it, you're just inviting more and more drama and more like slowness in your life. And I know this is gonna be triggering many people, but it's just how I live. Because I know when I have an impulse, that means in that moment, literally in that second, the energy is perfect. And you won't believe like the excuses I've heard, like, oh, I'm not this type, I always get to sleep over it, like people just having the wildest excuses why they can't make fast decisions. And I thought it's so interesting when somebody told me like, oh, I'm just not this type, like I'm doing a profiling course, I'm not this type to make fast decisions. I always have to sleep one night at least over my decision, then make a decision. And I'm like, how do you know that you're not the type of person for fast decisions if you've never tried it? And this is always where I get you. You're telling me things are not for you, but you've never tried them. So that is a clear indicator that something is not for you because you haven't tried it. For instance, I clearly can tell you, I do not like the taste of mussels. Why? I've tried mussels 3 times and every time I didn't like it. My energy around it is so crystal clear. When you offer me mussels, I'm saying no thank you. And by the way, my no thank you is articulated to you, you know, it's a no. But the stories people give me, especially when they haven't tried, I just know it's fear. And there's this very famous psychological concept, it's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And he actually has a quote which just lately I love. And he says, there are basically 2 options. Either you return to fear or you decide and go for growth. And every time you don't navigate through the resistance, you don't move, guess what's happening? You're just moving back to fear. You're moving back to your old self. But you try to be your old self and make big, wild money, and that's not working. It's just not. And if at least you can be honest and say, I'm like, hey, it's too fearful for me to do this. I don't trust myself enough. What if, whatever all your what ifs are. In this point of time, I make this very crystal clear decision. I go and feed my fear and I decide I'm not growing. At least if you can become so conscious, things are moving fast for you. And I shared this. So what was created through this massive energy in Tel Aviv and me going to Israel and actually me going through all the resistance that came up was literally, so I was at the event on a Saturday. On Monday, I had this massive like energetic hit. I'm like, how to share this with the world, but I didn't know how to name this program. I didn't know the details. Is this going to be 2 days, 1 day, 3 days? Is this going to be a program? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, whatever. I follow the energy and I announce a invisible offer. I'm like, this is the invisible offer. It started with $33 and every day more information is going to be revealed and the price increases. So it was really cool because what has happened, we had a 2-day event that was planned and it was called Spiritually Gifted Paid Big Times. And my plan was, I've created Jeanine GPT and I shared about her with you. It's basically a clone of myself and it's literally the work I do with my $250,000 one-on-one clients, really decoding their spiritual gifts and creating and turning them into $50,000 offers. That was where it hit me. I'm like, I want to share this with the masses. And obviously my time is limited. Not everybody desires to pay $250,000. Not everybody wants to grow into these realms where it's normal to make millions and multi-millions. So I'm like, okay, like how can what's like a cool, insane compromise where people still receive wild results? So I've created Jeanine GPT and a part of her was your spiritual gift decoder. And I'm like, this is so cool. On the first day of this 2-day event, let's do this in real time. And literally, I've never had any issues with ChatGPT. My clients, I've never heard about anything. But that day, we had the live call and probably like half of the people that were on the live call couldn't log in. And I'm like, oh, this is wild. This is great. Great. So what happened was ChatGPT was down. ChatGPT was down that day and that explained everything. So I'm like prepared for the next day. I'm like still in this energy of like nothing can stop me. Tell me what you've got today, creator. I'm prepared. And one of the greatest things that always helped me was actually seeing my mentors in real time, how they react, because I instantly saw how would I react and I saw how they reacted. I'm like, ooh, I can see the gap. I can see exactly how to match the behavior, like literally the how. I'm like, I see in real time how they behave, how they write, what they do, and how I would have reacted. And that was so mind-blowing. So day number 2 on Spiritually Gifted Paid Big Times was a PK offer readiness audit. So on the first day, you've got your spiritual gifts. Now we're here to turn them into $50,000 offers. And I always say it's not hard because you basically can take any offer. You can say it's $50,000 and you sell. However, there are 2 things. If you already have a $50,000 offer, my question is, why are you not selling it more? Or if you don't have a $50,000 offer yet, why is it not created? Why is it not out there? Like, what's the story you tell yourself to play small and to feed the fear side instead of going big, instead of going all in? On that day, I actually answered the question so people can see I got a score of like 97 or 96%, relatively high. And they could see, ooh, this is what I would have answered. This is what Jeanine answered. I can see the mismatch. And that was mind-blowing. And we had a Q&A and that was so deep, transformational, really. And after the first day, so this is how the event did go. Already resistance, things not working out, how I've planned it. So that was just like the operational side. Now I want to move to the financial side of that event. After day 2, only 2 people have upgraded to the Rich Woman's Room, which is my $1,000 offer where I show you how to create, market, and sell your $50,000 offer. And I'm like, this is interesting. I kind of thought it would be more, but okay. There was also a little bit a part of me that was disappointed. I'm like, this is interesting. Why am I still like attached to the financial outcome? Why am I giving it a meaning? Like a meaning that this is not big, a meaning that I'm sad. So cleaning my energy, doing my work. This is part of Jeanine GPT, like the complete version inside the Rich Woman's Room, where you navigate with her through your emotions in real time, right? So everything I told you, I tell her and she tells me exactly what to do. So also what I do with her, like she analyzes my first call, gives me feedback, how can I be a better speaker? So like just so many things I do with her, what I'm teaching you inside the Rich Woman's Room. So I'm going on to day 2 and no, it was still day 1. After that, I'm just going for a hike on top of the mountain here in Georgia. Many years ago, I did an ayahuasca session, and back then, Pachamama told me, I'm like, I will always take care of you financially if you would always take care of me. And back then, she clearly showed me, just remove all the trash from me. I just don't like it. So whenever I'm like walking around, very often I have a small plastic bag with me and just collect trash and then toss it. So that day on the hike, I didn't bring a bag or anything. And I'm like passing, it's getting hot, it's getting steep, it's getting dirty and dusty. And I'm like, so all of a sudden I'm seeing literally past an empty plastic bag, like perfectly new, in the side on the bush. And something in me said, so I pass. Don't pick it up. Something in me says, like, you just go back, pick it up, and you just pick up the trash like you promised Pachamama. So I'm like, okay, obviously I'm clearly hearing my impulse. Let me go back, get that. So I'm getting back the trash bag, going up to the mountain. It gets hot, picking up the trash. On top of the mountain, out of nowhere, 2 women requested for my one-on-one coaching. One for 3 months, that's $150,000, and another woman for $250,000, that's for 6 months. Like, they've never purchased anything from me before, and just like that, and I thought that was a bad sales day, it turned out to become a $400,000 sales day. That was insane. That magic, that alignment. And if you haven't gotten this 2-day event, get it. The recording is insane, because literally what I was teaching on day 1, I instantly embodied myself, and I got the results and the rewards. So day number 2 is complete, and it's just something I do always. I follow the energy. I do have kind of a plan. It just helps me to be more grounded. Like, this is a potential way. It doesn't mean it has to happen. So I think day 2, we are complete. All of a sudden, it really hits me of like, let's just do this Q&A session. Was so insane. And it actually stopped because my battery was dead of my computer. I didn't plan it would be that long, and I didn't have my charger with me. So I'm like, guys, I love you, but we gotta stop now. And then I thought, I followed that energy again that day, and it's like, just do a day number 3, a live Q&A session, and share like all the behind the scenes of how this lounge actually has evolved. So I'm sharing like data facts, everything, and we have another powerful Q&A session live, like life changing for everybody that was online. And I shared this on my email list, like, hey, I made this available for everybody to come to hear the insights in real time, to feel the energy of what has shifted. And that was just so insane, like really, really transformational. And that brought in even more sales, but it was never coming from like, how can I sell more? It was always coming from like, let me follow the energy, what feels like really cool and aligned. And I share a lot about like what it means to come from a given energy in sales. And that is really the magic I'm coming from. And that's why my sales are so high for a relatively small audience of like 2,000 people. Not many people bring in that much money with a small audience like I am. So following the energy, right? I'm like, this is so insane. I want to do this more often. Like this Q&A session with my community, day number 3 of Spiritually Gifted, big times, like nurtured something in my heart so much, like I can't describe it. It was like, it just was this full hit of like, yes, this is why you're here, this is your calling. And it was just so fulfilling that I've decided, hey, I'm gonna do this again. It's called the Truth Table. And it's literally, we come together as a community. It's pay what you want. The next one is at the end of July. I'm going to put it in the notes. It's just live coaching. It's an hour of live coaching. You come to the call, you ask your questions, you get coaching by me. And I'm like, this is so cool. So I don't know what the result of that is going to be. I don't have a plan. I don't have an agenda. I'm like, let me do the truth table. And maybe then this can generate in these sales, or I have an upsell, or I'm going to sell this afterwards. It's never how I operate. I follow the energy. I see the next step. I move. And then I know that when it's meant to be, the next step is going to be revealed to me. And this is really my inspiration for this week for you. Like how much more. I actually wrote this down because today's episode, I kind of feel is sponsored by Phil Collins and his song Against All Odds. Against all odds, I've made it to Israel. Against all odds, I've left Israel earlier. Otherwise, I would be still in Israel. And right now, to be honest, not knowing how to leave and when to leave Israel, I am grateful. I've left. I didn't go on my Jerusalem journey. Against all odds, I've received this impulse for spiritually gifted, paid big times. Against all odds, I've turned this into a $400,000 sale. Or sales days, sales week, kind of taking it all together. Against all odds, the truth table was created. Against all odds, so many things have happened. I've made it. And on one hand, it's a miracle to see the evolution of it. And on the other hand, I just know this is how the universe works, how magic works. And you either tap into it and you go full for growth and you surrender and you don't know what's happening. You just know the outcome has to be insane. Or you follow fear where it's slow, where not a lot of big money is being made, for sure not fast. It's very logical. It's a lot of looking at data, numbers and stuff. And it's just nothing that makes me happy. That's why I'm not on that side. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it doesn't make me happy. So how many odds can you overcome for your big money, big magic story? And when is it actually enough to stop feeding the fear and always returning to your small effing self and just play the safe game? Because also you have to understand, every time you don't decide for growth but for fear, you're inviting a detour, and the more detours you invite, the more painful it gets. So if that's your vibe, go for it. But you will find me on the other side, where we go for growth, where we go for big money, where we move fast, where we create insane results. Other people on the other side just look at us and I'm like, what is happening in the rich and happy world? I don't understand. You will never understand how and why I'm making the big money I do unless you see me in real time, unless you book a program with us, unless you experience this for yourself and you tap into that energy and magic and everything I got to show and teach you about making big money. But we also have to understand there are many blah 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 talkers about it that will never act. You just want the result, and you never can get the result without putting in the action. You can't have a six-pack and eating chips every day without doing sit-ups. It's impossible, and the same is true for the work we are doing inside the rich and happy world. I love you. I see you next week, same time, same place, here on YouTube, and nothing but the best.